You're listening to The Ride to Work with Pastor Fred. Fuel for your faith before you clock in. Enjoy the ride.
Hello and good day to all of you on this Memorial Day Monday. So thankful for each of you for joining us. If you are joining us, this isn't the normal ride to work because a lot of people are off today, so they may not be on their way to work, but wherever you may be on your way to, or if you're just at home listening and decided, let me see what Pastor Fred is talking about today, if he put anything out today, and I actually did. Today, on this special edition of The Ride to Work, we're going to be talking about the actual truth of Memorial Day. Because what happens when a generation enjoys freedoms that they no longer remember were paid for in blood? Just want to talk about the actual truth of Memorial Day, because Memorial Day is not just about death. It's about sacrifice. And to me, sacrifice should never become casual. You see, somewhere along the way, Memorial Day became more associated with cookouts and beach trips, sales, vacations, long weekends. It came more about that than remembrance. But see, Memorial Day exists because somebody never made it back home. Just say it like that. Some family member buried a soldier, some mother lost a child, some spouse lost a partner, some child lost a parent, because freedom has always cost somebody something. And whether you agree with every war throughout history or not, there are men and women who died believing they were protecting the future of others. And to me, that deserves honor. But the truth about sacrifice goes even deeper than the battlefield. I just want to say that. Because America, and some of you know it, and if there's some young people listening, maybe you don't know, but America was not only shaped by military sacrifice. It was also shaped by people who sacrificed for human dignity and civil rights. See, that's why I wanted to talk about this morning, this Memorial Day, on this Memorial Day. Because there are people who marched while being threatened, people who protested while they were being beaten and hosed and dogs sicked on them. There were people who spoke truth knowing it would cost them their very life. See, some died fighting for freedoms that many people now casually just enjoy. We don't think about that. And we know we know the most talked about name throughout our history as far as growing up in school and all that, Martin Luther King Jr. He died fighting for equality. Medgar Evers, he was murdered for challenging injustice. Think about that. Malcolm X, how did he die? He died speaking some just uncomfortable truths, just what he spoke. He died for that. John Lewis, he nearly lost his life marching across bridges, so future generations could walk through doors that was once closed to them. So you got to understand, there were countless others who sacrificed without becoming famous, their name not being in households, unknown names, unknown faces, unknown graves. But their sacrifice still changed history. And that is the uncomfortable reality. Many freedoms people now debate casually. They were purchased through suffering. Think about it. Just look at the now: voting rights, educational access, workplace opportunities, just basic human dignity. Somebody bled for those things, cried for those things, somebody died for those things. And how a lot of people fear watching some of those very things, some of those same liberties should I say, slowly becoming threatened again. Rights people once fought to secure now feel increasingly fragile. Policies change. Protections shift. History gets rewritten. Truth becomes politicized. Voices become targeted. I know I'm talking right. Books become challenged. Voting access, right? Come on now. You see redistricting. Voting access becomes debated. Peaceful protests become criticized now. Human rights conversations become weaponized. And for a lot of people, a lot of us, a lot of you out there, there's a growing fear that some freedoms are being quietly restricted. And it's being restricted by the very systems that originally were designed to protect them. That tension creates frustration. It does, because history has shown something repeatedly, and hear me when I say it. Freedoms can be granted on paper while being weakened in practice. That is why remembrance matters. Because people who forget history often fail to recognize when it starts repeating itself in different forms. One of the dangers of modern comfort is forgetfulness. I gotta say it like that. We as generations, and we look at this generation, and we're so disconnected, and when we become disconnected from sacrifice, that's when gratitude and thankfulness starts to decay. It starts to die away. Now people, they inherit freedoms without understanding the pain attached to them. And what that does, it creates entitlement instead of appreciation. And then when we look at it in the spiritual sense, because there is a spiritual connection, don't think it isn't. Because even spiritually, people love celebrating the resurrection while forgetting the crucifixion. Everybody wants victory, but we don't really want sacrifice that comes with that. We want blessings, but we don't want responsibility. Everybody wants change, but we don't want the cost attached to changing things. But throughout life, meaningful progress has always cost somebody something. Strong families require sacrifice. Leadership requires sacrifice. Justice requires sacrifice. Purpose requires sacrifice. Nothing sacred survives without sacrifice. And here's a hard truth. A generation that forgets the sacrifices behind its freedoms, they eventually become careless with those freedoms. And freedoms people become careless with, they can slowly disappear. They can slowly disappear. So the real problem is, watch this. A lot of people consume freedoms they never had to fight for. That's what's going on now. That's why there's a lack of appreciation. That's why there's a lack of remembrance. And what happens, it makes it easier to dishonor people who did. Those people who fought for it, it makes it so much easier because you never had to fight for it yourself. And that's sad. That's sad, and it's regrettable. Because when people stop protecting truth, they stop protecting justice, accountability, equality. What happens is those systems, once they stop being protected, they naturally drift towards control instead of compassion. There's no feeling there. So I said all of that to say this, because I want to at least offer a solution. This Memorial Day, this day of remembrance, make sure it becomes more than just recreation to you. Let it be reflection. Reflect about military sacrifice. Reflect about civil rights sacrifice. Reflect on human sacrifice, spiritual sacrifice. Reflect on generational sacrifice. Because gratitude changes how people carry what they inherited. It does. And awareness matters. It matters. People, we gotta stay informed. We gotta stay engaged. We have to stay compassionate. And we gotta stay willing to protect the dignity and freedoms of other people. Being silent ain't never protected freedom for so long. Think about that. Somebody paid a price so others could live freer. They didn't do that by staying silent. Some of them fought on battlefields. Some of them fought in streets. Some fought in courtrooms. Some fought with sermons. Some fought with marches. Some fought with their very lives. And maybe the least we can do is remember they mattered. So I'll say this and I'm done. Never enjoy freedom so casually that you fail to notice when they are slowly being threatened. Open your eyes, open your ears, open your mind, but more so, open your heart. Because that's where strength lies, in the heart of a person. Thank you so much for joining us for the ride. We'll be riding again in the morning.